Hey guys, what's up? Remedy here, and I have for you guys our Week 1 Power Rankings, and with me, as always, it is Socrates, coach of the Vespiquen Park Rangers.
What's up, everyone? We're back.
Yep, and hopefully this won't be an hour and 20 minutes.
Well, it better not be.
We'll see by the
My
end of
mother is going to be really upset if I get in bed that late.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Anyway, so Week 1's gone by. We've now seen how the drafts of each team does in practice. Few surprises, few not so much surprises. But our lists have changed a decent amount since the post-draft.
I wasn't actually all that surprised by the majority of things that happened.
And there were a couple surprises, in my opinion.
But if you want an in-depth analysis of all the matches that happened, I do think that Bob and Fishy is going to do a recap.
No, it's not going to be Bob. I think it's going to be Dom, and Dom in chat said he would do it, so Dom, coach of the Richmond.
Regardless of anything, there's going to be a recap on this channel. We're just going to talk about the implications that those results have for our list.
Yep.
And we're going to start off with number 12. I do think that we are very consistent, that we are, actually, this is one of the only things that we have the same on our list, which is going to be our number 12, which is Los Angeles Slowking.
Yep.
Reason being, we both had him last for our first power rankings that we did together. And I looked at their battle and I just saw a bunch of odd sets. I saw stamina plus close combat Mudstale, which, I mean, you boost your defense and then you break it down again, which I thought was rather silly. And then he lets Porygon Z set up, so the power move, when he's in with his Scarf Flygon, that is already locked into Earthquake. So, I mean, he could have gone off severe damage, then even switched out to sack off something, and then could have gone in and gone for superpower to just kill it, but he decided to just let PZ set up and just do a lot of damage to his team.
Yeah, pretty much the only reason why PZ didn't sweep through his entire team was that he didn't have Shadow Ball in the set. Because if he had Shadow Ball, if he conversioned into a Ghost type with Shadow Ball, I think he just won.
He would have straight up swept him because he had 3 things weak to it and no resists. If he had Shadow Ball plus Ice Beam on his PZ, then he would have just straight up...
That was just game then. That was just game.
Cleaned up his entire team. But that wasn't... Well, unfortunately for Cedric then, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I feel like after he saw a Swords Dance type null, the hero just kind of broke apart. He started just doing plays instead of actually... At least it looked like it. It looked like he was just doing plays instead of actually thinking about it.
I want to talk about that type null when we get to Cedric, because, turned out not to be a dead weight is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll agree. I didn't... Oh, and one of my biggest sticking points with hero in this match, especially offensive Alolan Marowak. Just why?
Yeah, I wrote that down as well. That was terrible. Didn't even kill Nihilego.
Yeah, with a crit Earth Power.
Yeah, Earth Power crit, and it did about, what?
55%.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It's pathetic.
So, I mean, I like creative sets, but especially offensive Alolan Marowak is just straight up terrible. Don't ever go with that. So
Never do that.
That's why we both decided to put LA Slowking at spot number 12.
Yeah, he just has a not that great draft, and he played not that well this week, so might as well just leave him there. Alright, so let's move on to our number 11s. We differ in this one. My number 11 is going to be the Black City Unown, and I think just in this match, I think it just... Eric, I think, is new to League format, if I remember correctly, so it's kind of expected that he wouldn't be as well prepared as some of the threats as other people would be. Nick just kind of brought Volturn with a couple wall breakers and was able to just destroy Eric's team, which I believe was hyper offensive. I believe Eric's team was mostly hyper offense.
If I remember correctly, yeah, it was.
Okay, I guess Togekiss Porygon 2 core, but that didn't really stand for that long, I mean.
Which I talked about for quite some time in our post-draft power rankings because it's such a good defensive core since P2's only weakness is fighting and Togekiss quad resists that. But then there's a Buzzwole which just tears both of them apart with the combination of Poison Jab and Superpower, and basically what happened is that Black City Unown couldn't do anything to the combination of Crobat, Buzzwole, and Rotom Wash.
Pretty much. It was really funny though, because I said that I said in the post-draft power rankings that Black City Unknowns couldn't take strong fire types, and Nick had a strong fire type in Entei, and it didn't touch the field. I don't think.
Yeah, it didn't do anything. It did not do anything. But also, Mega Gardevoir did not even have to touch the field in order to make this a victory. So, I was not all that impressed by Black City Unknown's performance, but they're actually not my number 11. I'm not sure if you want to talk more about them.
I just want to say that it's kind of expected. I think they're new to the format, so I'm sure they're going to put up better numbers as the season goes on. But for now, I'm going to leave them at my number 11.
Mm-hmm. My number 11 is going to be Palm Beach Palisand. It used to be Hallowed Houndooms, if not mistaken.
Hallowed Houndooms.
Hallowed Houndooms bailed after their week 1 performance. They lost and then decided, you know what, I'm having none of this, I'll just quit.
It wasn't even a week 1 performance. It was actually, for some reason, Sandra requested to battle someone ahead of time. She lost to them, got frustrated, and we realized that she wasn't really having fun with this league, and then she left.
So, yeah, this person is my number 11, but it got replaced by someone else, and I have no idea what the capabilities of this person are, so I'm just going to base it off of the week 1 performance. Hopefully this person can climb the rankings really easily. Well, I mean, it doesn't require a lot to climb my rankings easily. You just got to get a couple of wins, and then you're number 5, right? But I have no idea who this person is, how he plays, and so that's why, basically, that's all I have to say about it, is that's why he's my number 11. Team's still looking reasonably decent. I mean, I like Goodra, Slowbro, Nidoqueen. There's all mons that I like in draft format. I'm kind of iffy about the Mega Houndoom, but this person can make a couple of trades as soon as the trading window opens, and we'll see from there. But for now, it's going to be my number 11.
Yeah, and I'll continue talking about that since Palm Beach Palisand's actually my number 10. And I'll get more into the depth about the battle itself. The battle itself against Rohith was a pretty decent one. Both of them forgot that Megas need to be unmega'd for custom games, so they both brought Megas with their wrong abilities, which didn't play too much a part. It played more a part for J Creams and the Palm Beach Palisand because his Houndoom wasn't solar power, so we couldn't 2KO Vaporeon.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of Vaporeon, he really didn't have anything to really 2KO Vaporeon besides that. I mean, there was Dodrio, but there was always a safe switch in for Dodrio, so which continues my point from last time, saying that his physical offense isn't that great, which means that special walls can't really be broken against when he's playing against them.
Yeah.
He didn't draft this team, so I don't blame him for that weakness, and I'm sure he's going to make some free agency picks, but for until then, he's going to have to deal with that.
Well, there are a lot of good free agents left, especially in Tier 2, so you probably, since he already has good bulk, you may be able to drop Gutra and then go for something really offensive in that tier, for example, Mamoswine, for example. Well, I've seen different stuff up there, Gyarados. So, I've seen stuff up there which is going to really
Gyarados was taken. Gyarados was taken by the Cincinnati Beldums.
Oh yeah, I was talking to Tier 1. I was talking to Tier 1. Oh well. But there's definitely something. Infernape, for example, is in there. And then the Mamoswine, as I just mentioned, is also in there. So that can really add up to his team.
I think a good mon for him to pick is actually Dragonite.
Yeah, Dragonite can also help.
Yeah, because you're trading Dragon for Dragon, so I think that would work out pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so moving on, what was your number 10?
My number 10 was Kiwano Lucario. Main reason being they had a really bad performance this week. Like, straight up terrible. They lost, if I'm not mistaken, 6-0.
Yes, they lost 6-0.
They lost 6-0 because they let a reunion. They let a Smeargle set up first. I mean, they made a good play with switching in their Delmice to a Spore. That was a good prediction. And then everything went downhill. Smeargle went for Iron Defense, passed it into Reuniclus, which also had Iron Defense, so it was a +4 defense. And then Reuniclus just set up a couple of Calm Minds. He didn't SD when it was necessary. He just didn't. There were a couple of obvious plays where the opponent had to go for a recover, but then he just kept on clicking X Scissor instead of Sword Stand, so he would do more damage on the next turn, which allowed him to even set up more, and he just didn't capitalize on that. And then when his Mega Pinsir got taken down, he had a chance to kill the Reuniclus because it was only a +1 for death with the Nidoking, but he actually went into Alolan Raichu and clicked Z-move Psychic, which was resisted and only did 23. So
he was able to get back up a recover.
So he let his opponent recover and then set up Calm Minds against your Raichu and then just basically lose 6-0.
Yeah. Yeah, Vec definitely got very flustered against this team. If this was not a Baton Pass team, I think the team he brought would have done well. But Bronson really likes doing those gimmicks, so in the end, it just did not pay off for Vec. And with him unable to adapt to it, it just didn't work out well for him.
No, so that's why I think this is the person I drop most. I really like his team. But if you're going to play like that and do not even run calcs or something, because that Nidoking would have definitely killed the Reuniclus, and then he could have put in a lot of work because there were a lot of mons remaining, but he decided against it and just straight up lost 6-0, and yeah, that's all I have to say about it, really.
Yeah, and you pretty much said everything I wanted to say about the Lucarios. How they're my number 9, by the way. How they had a chance to. How they allowed the Reuniclus to just recover up when they could have Swords Dance with Pinsir, if they had Swords Dance. I'm pretty sure they had Swords Dance. Most Pinsers have Swords Dance. And then once Pinsir went down, they had a chance to bring it all back with Nidoking, but instead they just decided, I'll just do Z-move, hopefully it'll kill, instead of going for an actual move that
Pinsir actually SD'd once, and then on obvious recovers, he just kept clicking X Scissor to his Reuniclus instead of repeatedly clicking Swords Dance so his moves would actually do damage. So he just let a Reuniclus set up in his face when he was out with a Mega Pinsir, and then when he had an opportunity to kill it, he just didn't do it.
Yeah, so basically he led himself to his own downfall. Also, he didn't bring. I don't think he brought Taunt against a team with a Smeargle, which is something I just think is not good. But anyway,
yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, Smeargle is usually reasonably easy to play around, because he also had a Mantine, which is a really good, reliable defogger, but I don't know. It was just an overall bad performance on his behalf, and I hope he can really pick it up.
Yeah, I'm hoping he can pick it up, because he does have a really good team, and hopefully he can use it well.
I guess we'll continue to my number 9 then. My number 9 was Detroit Magneton. They won 1-0. However, I moved them up 2 spots. But they brought a very odd team. The thing I noticed from this team is that it had 4 fire weaknesses. And the opponent had an Arcanine, which was just, silly, right? But I did like the Trick Room on the Mimikyu, but then that didn't really perform. I really like Trick Room plus Vikavolt, because the Vikavolt also had HP Fire, and Arcanine was somewhat weakened. Vikavolt had potential to sweep his entire team that he brought, especially after, Mega Scissor got a bit weakened, Arcanine was a bit weakened, and he just could have late game cleaned with Vikavolt. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I thought the team he brought was in general really odd. But fortunately for him, the opponent did not have anything for Excadrill. I think it was Adamant Choice Scarf, because otherwise I don't really imagine it doing that much to Manaphy. But Manaphy took 60% from the Scarf Excadrill, so it was definitely not HP invested.
I can do a calc while you keep talking.
But he didn't have anything for Excadrill, and that's, in my opinion, the only reason why he won. Had the opponent brought a more physically defensive Mega Scissor, or just like a max Wsdfg Mega Scissor, then Excadrill would not be able to do all that much to it. And that's the only reason why I think he won. His opponent didn't prep for Excadrill, which is, a top tier threat, even in league play. So, and that's why he won. But I wasn't overall convinced with his performance. I mean, he set up with this Chestnut on a Machamp. Admittedly, the Machamp was kind of goofy and kind of good. It was a good bring on Oregon Oldman's part, but it just, I don't know. That's all I have to say about this match, really. He brought 4 Mons weak to fire, and he had an Arcanine and no resist, and then he just used his Trick Room at the wrong time. So I guess he just kind of got lucky that Excadrill could sweep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As I did the calc, and yeah, that would have to be an Adamant Choice Scarf.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. I'll talk about Troy Magneton's more actually now. He's my number 8, so it works out. This is working out strangely well.
Yeah, so our lists are quite similar. You just have the majority of them up 1 spot instead of, well, it's because you have the Palm Beach Palisand a bit higher than I do.
Yeah, it'll even out once you go for your 8 pick, and then things will start going back to normal. But anyway, I have the Detroit Magnetons at number 8. Yeah, they had a very weird team. I'll admit that right there. Having nothing to really take on Arcanine besides an Adamant Choice Scarf Excadrill just to revenge it after it's been weakened isn't really the best thing for it. Like, he did have a... Like, I know this is a weird mod, but he could have brought Wishy-Washy into this match, and that probably could have done some help, especially with the fact that he has an Arcanine that could do a lot of work to his team.
Yeah.
And then, I also thought Trick Room was a pretty good idea, but I don't know why he stayed in with Mimikyu on the Arcanine and just let the burn damage rack up and eventually let Mimikyu die as soon as the Trick Room went out.
Yeah, exactly. I had no idea either. But he just tried to catch the Arcanine with a Destiny Bond, but since he already revealed that, there was no way Oregon Old Man was gonna kill the Mimikyu by themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was no way they were gonna kill it with a Flamethrower or a Flare Blitz or whatever. They were just going to wait until Rocky Helmet damage plus burn damage was going to rack up thus far that Mimikyu would eventually die.
Yeah, so in the end, Mimikyu staying in on that just didn't make any sense. And then I think the last point I want to make is that Excadrill did just win because why am I forgetting his name? Corey. I don't know why I was forgetting the name. Corey didn't have a real good switch into Excadrill, and something like maybe just bringing Rotom Mo might have helped him there in that matchup. But I'll talk more about that when I get to the Oregon Old Man on my list. But pretty lucky win on the Detroit Magneton's part that the Oregon Old Man didn't have a switch into Excadrill. And it was pretty good of him to preserve Excadrill from taking any damage so that nothing could happen to it so that he can win late game.
Yeah. So, going to your number 8 then, I guess.
That was my number 8. It's your number 8.
My number 8 is going to be Black City Unown. Black City Unown brought a couple of weird sets. I mean, they brought Thunder P2 for no apparent reason, because T-Bolt could have hit the Crobat, which it hit for super effective damage hard enough. Could have broken Buzzwole's sub, but he decided to put on Thunder and eventually miss, which allowed Buzzwole to, get up a sub, stay behind the sub, and then just kill stuff from behind there. So, that was just odd and sloppy, and that's my main note on them, is that they just had really sloppy preparation. They could not deal with Crobat. They couldn't deal with Buzzwole, which is, and then Rotom Wash late game cleaned his entire team when all he was left was a regular Sharpedo, a Togekiss, and an Ambipom.
Yes, I believe that was the last one.
So I mean, overall, the major threats that Nick had, he didn't prepare for. So I had to move him down a little bit, but I'm still looking at this team, and I see so much potential. I still really like the Porygon 2 plus Togekiss core. I really like Garchomp, Alolan, everything he has is just, I think, really viable in League format. So hopefully he'll grow a lot throughout the season, and then he'll be able to perform better. But this week was just sloppy prep and just sloppy performance.
I completely agree, and I do hope he can pull himself up from here. Moving on, it's a team. Do we have him at the same spot? No, you have someone else at numbers. Oh, yeah, you do have. No, wait, you have someone else at number 7. For number 7, I actually have the Portland Poliwrags. The reason I have this is twofold. One, the reason he won was because Vec misplayed, not because he outplayed Vec. That's how I see it, more like it. And two, I don't think doing this type of style will work every week. In most weeks it should. In most weeks it shouldn't work. People should be, after people see this match, people should know to bring Taunt, Haze on like a bunch of different things. Make sure that he can never get up. Hazard never can get up. Sit up, and just make sure that he can't baton pass into something and try and sweep like that.
Mm-hmm.
His team is actually really good. Besides if he doesn't just baton pass stuff, his team actually has a pretty good base to it. I admit Guzzlord is a pretty big smear on it, but that's personal opinion more than anything else. So I do keep him at number 7 mostly because Vec lost the match instead of the Portland Poliwrags winning the match. But I do see potential in this team if he doesn't just solely baton pass stuff into Mons.
Yeah, okay, good. Portland Poliwrags are my number 6, and you basically said everything that I had to say because the match was relatively short. But my number 7 is going to be Indus Valley Infernape. I moved them up 3 spots.
Okay, I just want to make this note: the match was not actually that short. It was more, but the result was very short.
Yeah. Well, it was about 25-ish turns.
I could have sworn it was 40.
Oh well, fine. But my number 7 is Indus Valley Infernape. I didn't actually see this week's match, but apparently it was against Sandra then, of course, which bailed on our league and then just straight up left. So I don't think she was in a right mindset to do this, and
yeah, well, I don't think she was in the right mindset to do this either. But I don't think the reason that she left was because we saw she wasn't in the right mind to do this, and we let her go. She didn't just bail on us. We let her go.
But so I'm gonna remain with the things I said about Indus Valley Infernape in my post-draft power rankings. About there are a lot of staple mons on this team, and it's going to be really predictable about what they do. The only thing mon you can really vary with is like you could bring a Sulfus Tapu instead of Choice Band, and then you can slap a Scarf on Heatran, make it offensive, stuff like that. But your Vaporeon, your Mandibuzz are basically mainly going to be very defensive, very fat. Which is effective. I mean, they're very effective mons at doing that, but then again, I'm very scared that this team will be very predictable in future notice. But since so many people, I think, underperformed this week, I moved him up a couple of spots. But as soon as he can keep on performing really well, then obviously I'm going to move him up a couple more spots. I just fear that he's going to be that predictable as soon as you see his team on Team Preview. That it's going to be relatively easy to play around.
I see your points. I still have him pretty high up on my list, but I see your points on the issue of predictability.
Well, I moved him up a couple spots, so I'm not as harsh as I was last week.
Yeah.
Moving on to my number 6 then, because we already talked about the Portland Poliwag, so I'm going to keep this really short. My only note on this was the exact same thing you ended with, is that they brought a gimmick and they received a free win from their opponent. It was not because they played extremely well that they won, it's because their opponent just played really poorly, and that's why they won. So I didn't actually get to see this player's potential. I didn't get to scout what this guy has to offer, since this was the first game I have ever seen him play. So I'm just going to not move him up all that much. I'm just going to move him up one spot, and that's going to be it.
So yeah, I guess I'll move on to my number 6. And I think this is my biggest drop this week. I think this is my biggest drop from 1 to 6. From 1 to 6, I'm dropped the Cincinnati Buildums, coached by PC, and some of this was due to prep, but a lot of this also has to do with mindset during the battle. I'll start off with prep first. He didn't really have much for Magirna, if I'm being honest. I think he didn't have much for too many different Magirnas, if I'm being honest. Even something like a Choice Specs or an Assault Vest set did a decent amount of work to his team, but the real set was the set that actually swept them, the Shift Gear set. Because after Mega Metagross went down, he had nothing for that. He had nothing
Gligar, really, because Gligar was bulky, but he did not scout for Kyurem B not being Choice Scarf. He just banked on it. He should have doubled back into Tapu Fini and just let that go down, and then as soon as he noticed that that thing wasn't Scarf, he could have revenged it with either Mienshao or a Dragon, but he just didn't do that. He just sacked his Gligar, which eventually led to his demise of Magirna sweeping him.
Fair enough. Another note, I'm not sure why he wanted sub on Mega Metagross. I'm kind of confused on that. It kind of just whittled down. It didn't really do much in the match. It more just whittled down his Metagross for it to be later cleaned up.
Since this is my number 5, right, I'm just going to jump into this as well. Sub was actually a suggestion of mine, but a note I made is that he was somewhat greedy with it. I mean, he set up sub 3 times with a mon that had no recovery whatsoever.
If he had wish passing, I would accept, that would be fine. But he doesn't have he didn't have wish passing, so yeah.
Yeah, but that was odd, which eventually led Dugtrio to be able to kill with a Sucker Punch. And I mean, we all know that Dugtrio is weak, so Metagross was at 9% or something, and that's why Dugtrio was able to clean it up. He even had Bullet Punch, but I mean, I do think that Substitute was a good bring, especially against this team. I mean, you can set that up first to Cresselia and then just go for Meteor Mashes, fish for some attack raises, but he should not have necessarily done it as often as he did.
I honestly think I can understand bringing stuff for Cresselia, but as soon as Cresselia wasn't on the team or Blissey, I don't think sub was viable anymore.
Yeah, perhaps something along the lines of Toxic or something to hit Tangrowth a bit harder would have been better in the long run.
Yeah, I think Tangrowth was the main thing he couldn't break. He had a lot of trouble breaking through Tangrowth.
Yeah, but this is only hindsight on my behalf because I actually recommended to bring the Substitute. But yeah, I would have never recommended doing that 3 times with a mon that is actually meant to take some hits. Especially from the Magirna that eventually got 4 kills in this game. And that just wasn't pretty.
Yeah. And I'll move on to my second point now, about his attitude during this match. He threw a lot of shade at Jose for no reason whatsoever, if I'm being honest. He was pretty bitter about this match.
Yeah, there were a lot of sarcastic remarks there, which, I mean, I'm also really salty as soon as I lose, but the majority of people in here are my friends, and I mean, as soon as they beat me, that's fair, right? I don't think the hacks that happened were all that crucial.
Oh, it was not crucial at all. I've done my calcs. Magirna would have lived a high jump kick if it came in after Tentacle would have gone down supposedly after that high jump kick missed. Instead, if that high jump kick hit, McGinnon would have taken one hit.
Where I just think that the high jump kick play in general wasn't all that great. He should have just U-turned out, gone straight into a Dragon instead of doing it the turn. It was super easily predictable by the Seattle Seadras, which they then dazzlingly, which was very good prep on their behalf.
Yeah, I think they prepped really. I think the Seattle Seadras prepped really well for this match, and I'll talk about that later on. But yeah. Overall, I think PC was very salty and bitter about this match, and I don't think he prepped the best for this match.
Well, he prepped a lot for this game because I was there when the prep was happening.
I'm not saying he didn't prep a lot. I'm just saying the prep in the end didn't help as much.
No, the prep didn't do as much as we would have obviously liked. The only thing I'd like to say is that just scout more, because the moment Gligar went down, that was the moment McGearna won.
Pretty much.
Basically. So, but since Kieran B only had gone for one move the entire time, you banked on it being Choice Scarf, but then obviously it went for a Fusion Bolt on your Gligar. Gligar was still a good amount of health. I think it was like 1 or 2 Stealth Rock switch-ins, and that was it.
Here, I have the match open. I can check quickly.
And then, obviously, it would not have stayed in.
Yeah, it was at 75% Gligar.
On something that couldn't touch you. I mean, if Kieran B at that point was Choice Scarf, he would have not stayed in. Was he not Choice Scarf, he's obviously going to switch up moves to Ice Beam. So your overall best play, he was either going to switch or click Ice Beam. So your overall best play was to double back into Tapu Fini, and then as soon as that died, just revenge kill it with Mienshao.
Yeah.
Of course, all of this is hindsight talk, and that's really easy. I know in battle, I often overlook plays that are optimal, and then I don't make them as well.
And then this is a slant towards PC. He is a good battler. I have faced him many a time, and we've had many close battles. But it's just this particular battle was not his best.
No, but this was just my overall tip: just scout a bit more for moves, and just don't assume things as easily. And then also look at something that obviously can sweep your entire team, which is Magearna. Magearna is always going to be a threat to every single team ever. But you added Gligar there with Earthquake, which was, I think, Spadaf, or at least max HP, so it could have taken it on relatively easy. But we're just going to move on, right? Because we've been talking about Cincinnati Belgians for a bit now.
Yeah, so I'll move on to my number 5, which is the Oregon Old Men. So, this team lost 1-0 mostly because they didn't have a really good switch to Excadrill. But I think in the end game they could have pulled something off. Realizing this is now Adamant Scarfed Excadrill, that changes a few things. But depending on let me pull up the match real quick. I have this in one of my tabs. Depending on how, like after Scizor went down, what mon was he in again? With Scizor, I think it was Excadrill. So yeah, if he again going to Surf immediately to try and take it out. I think after that, and when he goes into Vikavolt, if he went immediately into Arcanine to try and counter the Vikavolt, because there was no way Excadrill was staying in, because Superior would have taken out Excadrill.
Yeah.
So I think as long as Superior lived, he could have still had a chance in this match.
Well, admittedly, Corey did also get so much Parahacks on the Arcanine.
Hang on. That Parax did not matter, and I will explain why right now.
No, I know.
Anytime the Parax happened, Mimikyu was either going for Destiny Bomb, a Play Rough, which ended up doing more damage to itself because of Rock Helmet, and in the end, he ended up getting a Morning Sun off, pretty much getting him back up to full, and Mimikyu died as the Trick-Room went down. So the Paralyzed Hacks, if anything, helped him a bit.
Yeah, well, I guess so, but yeah, he did pull the double and he did it. Well, maybe he just Morning Sunned on the T-Bolt at the end, and that may have made a difference, but then obviously you're going to get paralyzed at one point. So
yeah, that Paralyzed Hacks would probably matter.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else we need to really talk about that. We've talked about
as well, so I'm just gonna jump in there.
Okay.
Their performance was odd. Because, well, this entire match was odd. We talked about that before. But the fact that he had no Excadrill switch in was just his demise from the start. once again, as soon as he would have brought max defense, max HP, max scissor, maybe he could have done something against that. I know the opponent had a Magnezone, but in the end he didn't outspeed that anyway.
Oh, you know what would have been an actually decent bring in this matchup? Weezing.
Yeah, well, that still would not have beaten the extra drill because Mold Breaker.
Oh, right. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I was looking at that as well this afternoon, but then I realized that was not the answer to his problem.
Yeah, so probably...
I did like the Machamp set that he brought. Machamp put in a lot of work, even though Machamp ended up getting no kills, but it damaged the Mimikyu, damaged Golisopod, damaged Chestnut. So it did a lot of it did a great number on Detroit Magneton's team.
Yeah, Machamp was definitely the interesting Pokemon in this game, doing so much but still not getting kill.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, I think the Oregon Old Men played just fine. They just prepped a bit weird by not bringing a switch into extra. Like, you could have done max defense, Mega Scissor, or you could have brought Rotom-Mow. Both those.
Or something that actually outspeeds it, because Zoroark didn't do anything, and if Zoroark were to be Choice Scarf, then that could have potentially killed.
Which is why I'm saying Rotom-Mow, because like a Scarf Rotom-Mow could have done something to it.
Yeah. So a solid Scarf Drill in there would have been nice. But obviously this is all hindsight and just really easily. But it's Scarf Extra Drill, as soon as you're looking at a team with Extra Drills, you need to have something for Scarf Drill. Because otherwise you're going to probably get bombed.
Yeah. I mean, even you can see he has a Sand Setter in Tyranitar, so you do realize he's going to have a fast Extra Drill of some kind, so you need some sort of switch in.
Well, then it's even the more likely that he's going to bring Mold Breaker, Scarf Extra Drill, right? As soon as he doesn't have a T-Tar.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that you need to prepare for a fast Extra Drill. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think I'm going to move on to my number 4 since we've talked about the Oregon Old Man a decent amount.
Yep.
Alright, so my number 4 is the DMR Shadow Absol, and, well, I was wrong. Type Null's not dead weight.
Just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, it is not dead weight. Going back to that Marowak, that was special. Even if it was physical, adamant, thick club, all that shit, and went for Flare Blitz, Type Null, it only did. I counted. It was a bold. I believe it was a bold defensive Type Null. It only did 20% to Type Null that Flare Blitz. So yeah, it's not something to just wince at. And since he brought a Rest Sleep Talk set, that actually would have worked out pretty well for him. The one thing I will say though about that set is that he does have a Ghost type, so that set wouldn't have really worked out too well.
Mm-hmm.
But it ended up working out well in the short term, at least.
Yeah, well, it caused Hero a lot of problems, and it eventually ended up winning. I mean, his PZ set could have been better, but I already talked about that. I'm not going to do that again as soon as it's his turn on my list. But overall, it's just a reasonably solid performance, right?
Yep, I moved him up a decent amount, but the reason I didn't move him up too high, like to number 2 or anything like that, is because he beat Hero. I don't like slanting Hero, but the people above him have beat stronger opponents, so that's one reason why I think they should all be higher than him.
Mm.
And then I think also the Porygon set could have been better. It still worked out well, and it worked out fine, but I'm just thinking, like, if only the Porygon set was a bit stronger. Maybe I'd put him in 3 or 2.
Yeah.
So
my number 3, right?
Yes, you're number 3.
Okay, Nick, it's your turn. My number 3 is going to be Iowa Focus Energy. They had a very solid Week 1 performance. I was looking at this game, and I was in my head. I was coaching Nick, even though I was watching the replay, and
Nice.
I made plays because I'm somewhat biased because I don't know the coach of Black City Unknown, and I've known Nick for a couple of years now. But the plays I made were completely different than the plays Nick made, but his were better. I just straight up admit it. Everything he did the entire game was better. The Gyro Ball breaking Garchomp's second substitute, setting up rocks on the switch out. The first 10 turns, Nick had him completely cornered already. He read his mind. It was insane.
Yeah, Nick put up so much momentum on him that by the tail end of the match, all he needed to do was preserve and just eventually wear him down.
Yeah, Rotom Wash was gonna sweep at the end. Well, is gonna get 3 kills at the end. But I mean, he still had an Entei at full HP, and he still had a Mega Gardevoir at full HP. In the back, just, if Rotom Wash doesn't kill all of these things, well, then I have 2 massive wall breakers still sitting in my wings, just waiting to get some more kills. But they weren't even required. So that was just, it was really good prep. We all talked him out of running Sub Punch Buzzwole, but just run Superpower. But Sub Punch Buzzwole would have actually worked as well in this game, even though I still think that Superpower was not a bad bring because it still got 2 kills.
Yeah, I think either of those fighting moves would have done fine in this matchup.
Yeah.
So I'll talk a bit more about Nick when we get there because I still need to talk about my number 3. But overall, I think Nick did pretty well. Nick did really well, and he definitely did do a good job of overpowering his opponent.
Yeah. The notes I made were 2. I mean, he used Buzzwoles as a Garchomp counter successfully, which is funny, but I mean, it was a good thing.
It worked.
He just set up a substitute in Garchomp's face. He was not impressed whatsoever. So that was great. And then my second note was Nick brought exactly the right mons to counter his opponent, and his team walled. He just brought standard balance, I think. 3 defensive mons, 4 offensive mons. I'm not sure about the Rotom Wash spread.
Yes, 7 mons. Yes, exactly.
What?
You said 3 defensive mons, 4 offensive mons.
Oh, potentially 4 offensive mons. Oh well. So 3 offensive, 3 defensive, but those 6 just walled his entire opponent's team and broke his entire opponent's team. So that was just phenomenal bringing on his behalf, and that's why he's my number 3.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and he's my number 2, so I'll talk about him a little bit. But first, I'm going to actually talk about my number 3, which is the Indus Valley Infernape. He moved down 1, mostly because I wanted to make room for Nick at number 2, because I think he did a bit better this week. But yeah. I still think Rohith did a great job this week as well. In this match, Rohith just made a lot of good plays. He realized early on that J-Creams had very little to very little to break Vaporeon, and so he abused the Wisp passing abilities of Vaporeon to just heal things back up to full that shouldn't have been healed back up to full.
Yeah.
Like it was really good. He played that very well. And he just played his defensive course super well. He predicted all of Jake Creams' offensive moves to the point where it was actually kind of crazy how well he was predicting the defenses. I just think Rohith did a very stellar job against beating the.
I guess it's quite ironic then, right? Because I said that his team was very predictable, but then he just predicted everything out of his opponent.
Yeah, so. I think he did a pretty good job there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the end, he figured out the best way to deal with Dojo, which was basically kill itself with its own recoil. And yeah, that's basically all of my notes for that match. Rohith just played well in that match. So
I had actually seen the match, so I didn't put him up that much more because for some reason the replay is not on spreadsheet.
It should be on spreadsheet.
It wasn't when I checked. But my number 2 then?
Yep.
Yeah. My number 2 is DMR Shadow Absols, coached by Cedric. We just talked about their game. They played against the LA Slow Kings. The only downfall once again they brought a great Tidal set, which admittedly is a very odd thing to say. But it turned out to be really bulky, gets access to sword stands, but I just thought it would be a parting shot user in order to let his Zard X set up more, or let his PC set up more easily.
I don't think Zard took Dragon Dance once that game. I don't think it needed to.
But, and then he had an overall more powerful team than his opponent, and he took really good advantage of that. He had the right monster break his walls. And but the only thing I didn't like was the Porygons he set, because, as I said, Shadow Ball plus Ice Beam would have completely wrecked Hero's team. And none of those moves were on his set, so I'm very curious about what he actually did bring. Obviously, there was Tri Attack, but I didn't see any of the other moves. So I was somewhat disappointed in that PZ set, but hopefully next week he'll bring the sets that are on point. And I mean, he still won. He still has a very good team, and he has a lot of potential. He's a very offensive player, which is what I like to see. And yeah, that's why he's my number 2.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with a lot of that stuff. I still have him at number 4 just because, again, he beat Hero, but he'll move up if next week if he can beat his opponent pretty well. Moving on, I have the Iowa Focus Energies at number 2, and yeah, Stock basically said most of what I wanted to say. Nick was able to control most of that match, if not all of it, to a really great degree, and he basically was able to just he was basically able to just control everything that Eric could do, to the point where in the end he can just clean up with Rotom Wash, and he didn't even need to use Mega Gardevoir or Entei. So yeah, you took most of what I can say.
Yeah, well, it was overall a very solid and one-sided performance, and he just prepped really well. So that covers Nick's game, I guess.
I do like your comment at the end of that game. You're like, disappointing. You let Bronzong die.
Yeah. Bronzong deserved better, man. It was good.
Yeah, Bronzong's a good mon.
If you can get the 6-0, you should go for the 6. No, I completely disagree on that. You should just play very safe to win, especially if your differential is going to be big regardless.
Yeah, unless you're different, unless the differential really matters, you shouldn't care too much about it. You should care about it, but not too much.
Yeah, especially not at the start of the season.
Mm-hmm. So if you guys can use the process of elimination.
Number 1, we've covered all 11 teams, which means is that we have the exact same person at our number 1 spot, which is Seattle Seizure.
Coached by Jose.
I played Jose once, and as I said, he kicked my bum. It was terrible, but this week he played against the Cincinnati Bellum. We already talked about that, but his Magearna set was, he played it very patiently. He played it very patiently. He knew that he could outlast PC's team, and he had a good thing going with the eject button Cresselia.
Forgot about that. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So that he could trap the Mega Metagross. I mean, he did switch it in on a Meteor Mash eventually, but it was already that low that he could just kill it with a Sucker Punch. He saw the Bullet Punch coming. He didn't want to take any risk. Mega Metagross was too low to set up another substitute, so there were no mind games involved. And that was kind of so. He played his Dugtrio really well. I mean, Dugtrio did what it had to do. I mean, Dugtrio didn't do that much. Drapion was already down because Drapion got handled by his team reasonably well. And then, obviously, the only thing Dugtrio had to do was take down the Mega Metagross, and that's exactly what it did.
Mm-hmm. And then, as you said before, as soon as Gligar went down to Kyurem's Ice Beam, there wasn't really much stopping Magearna. So he just patiently waited for the exact time where he can set up, which is basically after Tentacool died. And so he brought it in against the Hydreigon. Took an Earth Power, which meant he, and by the percentage it did, he was HP invested. Went for Shift Gear and just kind of swept through the rest of his team.
Yeah, well, the only thing you needed was to outspeed everything on his team at +2, which mostly doesn't require a whole lot of speed investment. Well, usually you also want to outspeed something that's Scarf, and then you probably did that to outspeed Scarf, Mienshao, Scarf, Hydreigon. I don't know, but +2 is just a lot of speed boost, so you don't need to run that much speed in order to do that. So that's exactly what happened. Jose had just a good performance. He was very patient. He was very focused. He made the plays that were necessary. There was a nice gimmick in there that actually worked really well. So I don't have any complaints about this guy. He just did really well against your number 1 and my number 3 from last week. So
yeah, he played pretty flawlessly, prepped pretty flawlessly. I have nothing really to say. He just did really well for week 1.
Exactly. The last note I made on him is that he knew exactly which ones to keep alive and which ones at what time to let go. And that's how he got a pretty safe and really decent 3-0 win against Cincinnati Belgians, which we both ranked really high.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, that is our rankings. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're definitely enjoying doing this, even though it sometimes keeps Socrates at a pretty late time.
It's alright.
Yeah. So again, hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you guys for week 2 power rankings. So until then, we will see you guys later.
Bye.